We are living in scary and uncertain times. Our entire world has come to a halt. Businesses are closing, sporting events are canceled, concerts are canceled, schools are closed, family gatherings are canceled, and citizens are told they must stay in the house unless they are an essential worker. There is a small part of the population right now that is keeping our country running. They are ensuring that citizens still have access to health care, to groceries, and to their prescriptions. The last month in the US has felt like something out of a movie, but people all over the world know that this is no science fiction. This has become the new normal. The coronavirus pandemic is taking over all media outlets. It is all most of us can think about every day. For some of us, it has caused us to not know where our next meal is coming from because we were laid off from our job. And for others of us, we are afraid that every day when we leave our house to go to work, we are exposing our family and ourselves to the deadly coronavirus. And today, we will answer a few questions that will give you a better idea of the injustices happening to essential workers. The first being, who is an essential worker? Why do they need protection? Why do they deserve to be financially compensated? And why should they still be paid even if they cannot come to work? First, we must start at the beginning and find out exactly what is behind this global crisis. According to the CDC, the coronavirus, or COVID-19, is a respiratory illness that can spread from person to person. It originated in Wuhan, China, and was first noted in November of 2019. It has spread quickly all over the world despite China's efforts to keep the virus contained. The symptoms of this virus can range from none to deadly and include fever, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, tiredness, aches, runny nose, sore throat, and loss of smell and taste. Because this virus attacks the respiratory system, many patients contract pneumonia as well. As of today, there are 1,591,523 cases worldwide. And in Pennsylvania, there are 18,228 with a death toll that rises by the minute. Because of how easily the viruses can be spread, the government has issued a nationwide shutdown that is effective at least until April 30th. This shutdown has forced all non-essential businesses to close, causing millions to be out of work. However, all essential businesses or businesses that are life-sustaining are allowed to stay open, which means their employees must still report to work and put themselves at risk to the virus. So, what are considered essential businesses? According to Business Insider, it is any business that people rely on every day. These include supermarkets, big box stores like Walmart and Target, pharmacies, garbage collection, healthcare centers, hardware stores, gas stations, banks, post offices, shelters, and transportation, just to name a few. The employees of these businesses are still expected to show up to work every day, despite the fear the world is facing every time they leave their home. Okay, we've identified who an essential worker is, and I'm sure everyone thanks them for their service. But let's face the facts here. Someone has to do these jobs. Essential businesses are considered life-sustaining. So if the employees do not show up and do their job, life would not be able to go on for some people. But essential workers deserve to be protected while at work. They deserve personal protective equipment, or PPE. Because the coronavirus is spread through droplets generated when an affected person coughs or sneezes, or through droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose. And the best way to protect yourself is to wash your hands often and avoid direct contact with people by staying at least 6 feet away at all times. This is very hard for most essential workers to do, as their job involves contact with people and they do not have the liberty to go wash their hands as often as needed. Because of this, PPE is needed. It includes disposable gloves to protect the hands while touching possibly contaminated surfaces, face masks to protect from breathing in the virus, and for some employees, especially those in the healthcare field, shields and full body coveralls. And all of this sounds great, and it seems like the perfect way to keep our essential employees safe while they risk exposure. However, most businesses are not providing their employees with these things. There have been minimal efforts to keep employees safe, which is leaving them to feel used and afraid. On one hand, they know they are blessed to still have stable income coming in, but at the same time, they have to question if money is worth their health. I myself am an essential worker, and I can say firsthand that I have not been given any PPE to keep me safe, and my job involves me working closely with other people. It leads me to believe that my health and safety does not matter to my employer because they do not want to protect their employees. Even the people who are on the front line of fighting this pandemic, our doctors, nurses, and EMTs, they are being asked to reuse some of their PPE products because there is a nationwide shortage. And for some healthcare workers, they are not given nearly enough equipment to keep them protected. Companies are not taking the proper precautions to keep employees safe. And although PPE is the most important thing essential workers should be receiving, they should also be financially compensated. Essential workers are putting not only themselves, but also their families at risk every time they leave for work. Some doctors and nurses have to set up tents in their garage of their homes to live in while this pandemic is going on so that they do not come in contact with their family and possibly expose them to the virus. Many essential workers have been asked to work extra shifts or pick up extra responsibilities, putting them more at risk and under more stress. The world is advised to only leave their homes unless it is an emergency or you are going to get food for your home. But essential workers do not have the liberty of following their advice. They are putting themselves at risk to keep the world going. They are true heroes and deserve to be compensated. It is unfair to ask someone to put not only their life, but their loved one's life in danger, and they gain nothing from it. Although money does not solve problems, it does help. Essential workers could use that extra money to help loved ones financially who are out of work, to pay someone to watch their children while they are at work, or even to save to go on that much needed vacation when all of this is over. Whatever they decide to use the extra money for, they deserve it. But for some employees, it is more than just the risk they may or may not be posing to their families. For some employees, continuing to show up to work is just not an option. For various reasons, some essential workers must stay home like the rest of the world. Schools are closed at least until May, and in some states, including Pennsylvania, they are closed for the remainder of the school year. Some essential workers have small children who cannot be left alone, and they do not have the resources to have someone care for them while they are at work. And so they must be the one to stay home with them. For others, they may live with someone who is immunocompromised. And every time they step foot outside of their home, they put that family member in grave danger. The people most susceptible to having severe symptoms from coronavirus are immunocompromised patients, those with asthma, diabetes, heart disease, and other underlying health conditions. So some essential employees are faced with the dilemma of keeping food on the table or going to work and putting their loved ones at risk. And for some employees, they are the ones that are immunocompromised. and they are putting their own health and safety at risk by continuing to go to work. There was a video that went viral of a nurse who had to quit her job because she was assigned to the floor where patients who had confirmed cases of coronavirus were being treated. Some may have initially looked at the video and thought that she was just being selfish, and did not want to care for those in need. But if you continue to watch the video, you would learn that she had just recently beat cancer for the third time. And so she had a weakened immune system. She had to make the difficult decision to put herself and her health first, and she had to quit her job on the spot. Essential workers should not be put in these dilemmas. Companies should be offering paid time off for the employees who cannot continue to work during the crisis. Many companies have implemented work from home protocols, but for their employees, there are still many businesses where this is not an option, and no one should be punished for having to think of their family before their job. This is a trying and scary time for everyone. People are dying every minute from this virus, and their families cannot even visit them or give them a proper burial. This is a time that we must all come together, not just for the protection of ourselves, but for the protection of our neighbors and loved ones. Everyone plays an important role in ending this pandemic, but we should not forget the sacrifices that our essential workers are making every day.